In 2011, Gary, Indiana was a typical Midwestern city defined by its industrial roots and a landscape of aging steel mills. It was an environment rooted in the tangible and the everyday. That ordinary reality changed for LaToya Ammons and her 3 children when they moved into this rental home on Carolina Street. They arrived hoping for a quiet, stable place to live. But even before they unpacked, the neighborhood offered a different perspective. Longtime residents spoke of the property with a specific, recurring warning. They believed a presence already occupied the house. These weren't just rumors shared over fences. Within months, the claims coming out of the Ammons home became so extreme that they triggered official interventions by the Gary Police Department and the Department of Child Services. The case eventually reached a national audience because it presented a rare collision between 2 worlds. Documented police and medical reports began to describe events that sounded like they belonged to the realm of the demonic. To understand why this case troubled so many skeptics and believers alike, we have to look at the specific incidents reported by the family, starting with the first signs that their new home was failing them. The family first noticed environmental shifts that were difficult to ignore. They described heavy, rhythmic footsteps in empty upstairs rooms, followed by doors swinging open and shut with no draft to explain the movement. Then came an infestation that defied the seasons. In the dead of a freezing Indiana winter, the family found their porch suddenly swarming with hundreds of black flies, an occurrence that didn't align with the local climate or insect behavior. The disturbances soon focused on the children. They began reporting a constant, heavy feeling of being watched, describing tall, dark figures that would stand in the corners of their bedrooms after the lights went out. This environment created a state of total, localized paranoia. Every creak of the floorboards or shadow in the hallway was interpreted as the actions of a house actively hostile toward its inhabitants. When subjected to sustained, high-level stress, a family's internal pressure eventually reaches a breaking point, where the rational world falls away. That breaking point occurred when the youngest child's behavior shifted into something unrecognizable. LaToya claimed the boy began to speak in a deep, guttural tone, while his body contorted into unnatural positions. Fearing for their safety and the boy's health, the family fled the house and sought emergency medical attention, hoping for a clinical explanation. It was here that the story moved into the public record. A child services caseworker and a nurse both alleged that during a period of distress, the child walked backward up a hospital wall, a claim that would become the most scrutinized detail of the entire case. Medical staff were unable to resolve the family's crisis, leading them to call in a priest. Several exorcisms were performed to clear the home, but the family reported that the disturbances simply returned as soon as the rituals ended. Ultimately, neither the doctors nor the church could provide the family with a sense of safety. They eventually walked away from the property, leaving the house on Carolina Street to be defined by the stories left behind. After the family left, the media interest intensified. The property was labeled the Demon House, becoming a destination for camera crews and amateur investigators looking for proof of the supernatural. However, as the initial panic faded, the lack of evidence became clear. Outside of eyewitness testimony, no physical or photographic proof emerged to confirm the more extreme claims, like the events at the hospital. Skeptics point to a combination of factors that can simulate a haunting. When extreme family stress is combined with a strong belief in the paranormal, it can lead to mass hysteria, a psychological state where a group of people begins to share the same intense hallucinatory experiences. There were also tangible environmental concerns. Investigators noted that poor insulation could explain the flies, while the symptoms of paranoia and hallucinations reported by the children align closely with the effects of a slow carbon monoxide leak. These grounded theories suggest that a failing structure and a high-stress family dynamic can create a terrifying reality without any supernatural involvement at all. In an effort to put an end to the constant trespassing and media attention, the house on Carolina Street was eventually purchased and bulldozed, leaving nothing but an empty, grass-covered lot. The removal of the physical structure had an unintended effect. It effectively protected the claims from further investigation, allowing the narrative to take root as a permanent fixture of local lore. We are left to decide if this was a rare encounter with the inexplicable, or a deeply tragic example of how environmental and psychological pressures can break a family's perception of the world. While the foundation has been cleared away, the specific details of what happened in Gary remain a point of debate. The debris is gone, but the case files remain, a lingering reminder of the time when state officials were forced to document the impossible.